Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Neosouled Radio. This is your host, Kyri Nashiem, aka Neosouled, and I'm here with Thizz.
Yeah, you know what it is, man.
Thizz Uchiha.
Yeah.
Correct. Can you let our viewers and our listeners out there know a little bit about yourself? Who are you? Where are you from?
I go by Thizz Uchiha. If you really want my name, you know, it's Tony. It's not that hard to remember, not that hard to forget. Just a simple human being, you know what I'm saying? But a little bit about me, man. From Vallejo, California, Bay Area, native, you know what I'm saying? And I'm here with my good old friend right now. You know, met through college type shit. And I'm here to, you know, get entertained because my boy doing his thing.
Yeah. And it's great. So great to have you here.
Appreciate you, man.
From my understanding, you're a graphic designer, you're a video creator, and you're a Twitch streamer as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about your artistic journey? How did you get into all these fields, and how do you balance them out?
When I was younger, I used to draw a lot. I would just draw random characters. I used to play video games a lot. So playing video games also fed into my creativity because I would draw the characters that I played in my video games like Mario, Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, Rayman, Call of Duty. Anything that I played when I was younger, I like put it into my drawings, even movies that I watched. It's just certain things that I watched and that I, you know, paid attention to that I would interpret or incorporate into my drawings. So that's where the creativity came into play. My auntie was a graphic designer and she studied at Expressions. She went there. I always saw what she was doing. So I was like, that's kind of raw. Like, what is that? And then she was like, it's Photoshop. You feel me? So she put me onto that, and my pops is a DJ, so he also used Photoshop so he could do his flyers and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was like a mix of both worlds, both teaching me how to do Photoshop, both had the access to Photoshop. So from there, I was able to just play around with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, just fuck around with it. So yeah, that's basically how I got into the creativity, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it started, really.
And it sounds like your family was always very encouraging of you pursuing art, correct?
Yeah. I mean, any parent at that stage is encouraging any kid to do what they feel like doing. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So since I was an quote unquote artist at that time, and all I really wanted to do was draw and mess around with Photoshop, of course, they're like, yeah, do your thing. Like, go ahead, handle your business. You know what I'm saying? And my uncle, he was a tagger, a graffiti artist. So when he came around and he would show me his little tagging shit, that's also what inspired me to want to do art as well. So it was like those three main factors are basically like what got me into the art. And he was supportive too. I mean, like, I was tagging in middle school too, but elementary, I was like tagging on notebooks, you feel me? Even though I was ass, you know what I'm saying? But it's the fact that my mind was working on creativity. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. And thank you for sharing that with me. From what I've seen, you make your own music as well. Correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
That's due to my steppops, rest in peace. He used to always play hella music when I got picked up from school. Even after school, like, just going to the house and having a whole whole shelf, like 2 shelves of CDs stacked up. Mm-hmm. You know, you can go from the South. He's playing Outkast, Gucci Mane, T.I., you feel me? Or if we're going to the West Coast, he's playing Pac, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Mac Dre. Or if he's playing from the East Coast, he's playing Wu-Tang, Nas, DMX. You get what I'm saying? My steppops always had music playing, and that shit was always just raw to me. Like, the sound of hip-hop was just always like it just clicked. It clicked with me from a very young age. It had this spark that, to this day, I still don't know how to describe, like, what exactly was that had, like, such a big, like, grab on me. Mm-hmm. But no, that shit runs deep, bro. That shit runs deep. And I remember too, like, California Love, that was the first hip hop song I could remember. And that ever since then, like, I fell in love with hip hop and rap, and I just love that shit.
And so you've had those influences from a young age.
Clearly. Hell yeah.
And so how do you feel about the state of the culture right now with all of the recent deaths of, Takeoff, P&B Rock, mm-hmm. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah. I mean, with them type of situations, a lot of them just be inconveniences. You know, you had a Takeoff situation where, he got killed over an argument. Like, he wasn't even a target. And then you got P&B Rock, who had nothing to do with LA politics, yet he was a target because of his jewelry and his status. You know what I'm saying? Like, that more speaks on community, upbringing. We're in a state where we're allowing words to have a very strong hold on our emotions. You get what I'm saying? We allow people that, have nothing to offer us in terms of growth or status or anything like that. They have nothing to offer us, yet we allow them to affect us the most. in terms of emotions and actions. Like, what we gonna do about it? You feel disrespected because someone called you a bitch, or you feel disrespected because someone wants to get an attitude with you, knowing damn well like you're in a good position in life. You get what I'm saying? Or you feel the need to go to the hood because you think that shit is raw and it's a good ass little restaurant over there, knowing damn well you walking around with jewelry and shit. You know, it's like we're not being very wise, and we're not being very strategic with how we maneuver as people. And we think just because we have money, that justifies us having our guard down just because we have money. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting. You know, I don't like to play into the whole conspiracies, and I look at life for like what it is and, you know, realistic type shit. So it's just unfortunate, man. You know, life has its bad moments and has its bad places, and that's just what it is.
And so when it comes to the theories and the things people are saying when it relates to the labels, liquidating their assets, and how you're worth more dead than alive. Yeah. Is it not something that you really believe in, or you choose to?
I mean, of course, like that's a given, you know, like that's not something a conspiracy theorist needs to break down. Like we all know that value after death, you're valued more than you were alive. I feel like the only part I bash the label is because you're not giving resources to where it's needed. You're not like, why do you feel the need to allow these people who have troubled paths to continue to have a troubled future? Yes. You get what I'm saying?
I think that's very, very true. I mean, especially with this whole Meg Thee Stallion situation. I don't even bring it up to even dissect all of that, but somebody said that regardless of how this turns out, Megan needs to go to therapy. I think a lot of them need to go to therapy. Oh, yeah. And in hearing that, it just made me think like, damn, you know, when she was first getting on the scene and she was first popping off and she lost her mom, her dad was already gone, and then I think she lost her grandmother right around the same time. Yeah. You would think that the people who are, you know, over her management, have they gotten her any therapy? Is that just something that they don't think about when it comes to artists until it's too late?
Exactly. Know? That's why I say, like, when I look at labels, I only give them 50% responsibility because the other 50% is accountability. You need to be self-aware of where you're damaged and where you need repair. So in situations like that, like, you can give people resources. It's kind of like my step-pop used to always say this, and I always remember this. You could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. You know what I'm saying? The most, like, you feel me? The most pops ass fucking quote, and that shit makes sense. That shit's made more sense over these years than he's ever told me. Over the years, it's just like dumb shit, like I'm getting in trouble. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. You know what I'm saying? But now, like, as I'm progressing in life, I can see, like, holy shit, like this. You know, Pop's ass quote has way deeper meaning than I ever understood it to be. Oh, yeah. You get what I'm saying?
And it's the ones that you never forget. I know that my grandmother, she said, trouble is easy to get into, but hard to get out of. Facts. And that's something that always stuck.
It's facts, bro. It's facts. And that's just what it looks like right now with the whole situation, you know? And I know, like, people have their, whether they want to believe it or not. My take on it is, if she knew that he didn't do it, why would she do that? But I also think, like, mentally she wasn't there fully. You know, she probably had a lot going on. And I'm not justifying that.
And like you said earlier, that doesn't take a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, it's some, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is pretty straightforward. And I know, like, people, like, we live in this age where, you know, protect black women, protect black men, you know what I'm saying? I might not be black, but I can understand, like, where you coming from. You get what I'm saying? Because to hold that culture and hold that ethnicity, like, very tight, you want to hold each other down, which is explainable, like, perfectly understandable. You get what I'm saying? Like, every race should have that. Yeah. You know, every race also needs accountability of when folks are wrong. Like, if she knew that he didn't do it and she's over here running with that narrative that he did do it and you got proven wrong, you need some accountability. And there's nothing wrong with saying you was wrong. Like, you got to take that L to the chin. I was wrong. He ain't do it. I lied. My bad. I'm going to get some therapy. Simple as that. And same thing with him. If he was being rough or whatever the case is, you feel me? You got to take that L on the chin as well. Like, it's nothing wrong. Like, just because somebody's right and wrong doesn't mean that you just need to be right and wrong. Like, somebody could be wrong when they're right and somebody could be right when they're wrong. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, yeah.
So that's just what it is, man. It's a lot to break down. You know, a lot of folks is very, like, one-sided or simple-minded, and they don't really have, like, the capacity to think outside the box. Like, they think they need to narrow that shit down to simplicity when it's not the case. You really gotta look at perspectives. That's how you really acknowledge and really get perspective of folks. You know?
And so what do you think, because clearly from this conversation you have a very open perspective, what do you think were your biggest influences to your mindset and how you navigate the world, how you navigate the industry?
I can't think back on a specific person or a specific event that allowed me to think outside the box, because I've had my instances in the past where I wouldn't think outside the box. I would strictly think of what my emotions was telling me. But after watching like YouTube videos, and I think like one person I could say in particular that really opened my mind was the dude who, God, and I forget his name. He's the dude, he's like a bigger black man, and he talked to the KKK people.
What?
Yeah, I forgot. I think his name is Daryl Davis or something like that. But what he does is he basically meets with the Klansmen people and like understands them instead of just bashing them on what they're doing. He talks to them. He gets to know them. He gets to know their mindset, and then from there you're able to maneuver and you're able to persuade them to, you know, realize that what you kind of believe in is wrong. And I know you don't want to admit that because that's what you've been raised to believe your whole life. But unfortunately, this is the real world, and that is wrong. And I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you see the light. Him specifically, I would say, is what helped me understand that you have to be strategic and you have to be open-minded in order to understand other people. Otherwise, you just say, well, that person's just like that because that's just how they were raised, and there's no helping them. And it's like, wait a minute, why don't you try to understand that? There's no taking away what they do is bad, but you have to understand what led up to that. I'll say him probably is the most person where I understood. Like, a lot of people don't agree with him too. They think like, oh, well, they're the KKK. Why the fuck are you even listening to them? But it's like, well, why aren't you? Like, how are we going to understand a problem if we don't understand like where it's coming from? You got to know the root, you know?
That's fair. That's fair. And do you think that, you know, you said that you were from Vallejo?
Yeah, Vallejo. I'm from Vallejo.
Yeah. I'm actually from Antioch. But
oh, shit. Okay.
To say, do you think that spending these years living in San Francisco has affected the way that you view things? Do you ever think of like how you would be if you never went to college in San Francisco, if you stayed in Vallejo?
Even when I got accepted into SF State, I didn't even think I was going to be accepted. I really thought like bare minimum of myself. I really thought low of myself. So I was already preparing to go to like a community college. I applied for like Sac State, SF State, San Jose State. And I was already thinking like, they're not finna accept me. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just some like loser ass boy who's trying to go to college. I didn't really care about school. You feel me? It wasn't until like senior year that I really tried. Like, I was like, okay, I'm trying to get straight A's type shit. But from the beginning, I didn't see myself like going to SF State. I didn't see myself prospering the way I thought I would until it happened, and until like San Jose State and SF State accepted me and they said congratulations. And I was like, wait a minute, do I have potential? You get what I'm saying? Like, do I really have potential like that? Have I been downplaying myself? You get what I'm saying? I already thought low of myself. So it was kind of a wake up call when I did get accepted, and it allowed me to up myself. I was able to better myself with that acceptance that, you know what, I think I do have potential. I think I'm worth something.
And that's all it took? Or do you think there was kind of an adjustment period? Did you ever deal with some imposter syndrome even after you were in the classroom, after you had made it?
I think that's what gave me the push to bettering myself, and that's where the transitioning was starting, was that moment of when I did get accepted, because then I started thinking like, am I worth it? Like, do I have potential? And then from there, I kind of like questioned myself every day to like the point now where I'm like, I think I'm worth something. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think I could be something. You feel me?
And so where do you see yourself, you know, in the next 5 years? What are your goals when it comes to all of these different artistic means of expression that you have?
Yeah. Like, where I want to be, I mean, everybody wants to be successful.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Stable. I would definitely want to be stable emotionally and financially. But in terms of like career wise, I would like to be in media. My aim right now is like No Jumper. That's where I really want to be at. I feel like I could add to that.
Yeah, shout out to No Jumper.
Yeah, shout out to No Jumper, man. Get at me, man.
Yeah, get at me. Like,
yeah, get at him too. No, before you get at me, get at him first. Because he going crazy.
Get at both of us.
Get at both of us at the same time. You feel me? Yeah. But I can see myself there. I feel like I would add a good, I would be a good addition. You feel me? Besides media, I do want to get better at graphic designing. I can see myself doing designs for folks like ESPN and NFL, UFC specifically. That's what I really want to like get in contact with. I still got a lot of learning to do, so that's why in 5 years, I think I'd be definitely better than where I am right now. 2022, 2021 was a year where I realized like I have potential and I need to capitalize off this momentum that I have right now that I got going on. It took me years late. I'm a little bit late of when I was supposed to get the flow going, but it's here now, so that's all that matters.
Exactly, and I can totally relate to just having a period of time where you were sleeping on yourself, and then you realize and you're kind of trying to make time back. But like you said, what's important is that you're doing it now and not to be so hard on yourself. And just everything happens in seasons. That's what I always say. You know, there's ups and downs with everything.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's true. I fuck with that.
And we are back.
Yeah.
And so I understand that you're a YouTuber. I was in the editing class with you, so I know what you're capable of, and I know that you're a fellow fan of Trap Lil Ross, correct?
Yeah.
I love his content as well, but I know that there are a lot of people who feel against what he's doing. There's some controversy because he does a lot of videos covering, you know, drill music and gang activity and all that.
Yeah.
You know, people feel like, for one, it's kind of snitching. Other people feel like you're kind of perpetuating violence. You're promoting it. And then people take into account the fact that, you know, he's a white British man.
Yeah.
My question is, how do you feel about this, you know?
Yeah. My standpoint, I feel like if we're going to get mad at YouTubers capitalizing off that gang life and the unfortunate lives that get lost into it, we need to, like, tell Hollywood to stop doing documentaries and all these other things with mobsters, kingpins, drug lords, even like celebrities, if that's the case, because we're generalizing a demise of these people. So it's no different than companies making money off of it and selling it and streaming it on Netflix and shit like that. But when the YouTuber does it, then that's the problem. Yeah. But where's the problem when these companies do it? You get what I'm saying? Which I'm pretty sure there is people that are also with, hey, we're not just stopping at the YouTube. We are also mad at these people too. It was like, then we need a bigger voice then, because you feel me? If we continue letting that happen, then where's your momentum at? Where's your movement at? Because you're only silent in this part, but you're louder on this part. You get what I'm saying? But in terms of me though, I don't look at it as snitching because you make it public, the cops already see it. I'm tired of people thinking just because somebody reposts it, thinking the feds didn't see it from the beginning. You sound dumb. The feds been seen it. They've been on you. Stop acting like the feds don't know you. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? That should just be annoying.
I agree, and you know that brings me to my next question. I know that in the case of Trap Lil Ross, they have used some of his videos as evidence in court in the past of him dissecting the rap lyrics. And as I'm sure you know, Young Thug is still down. Gunna just got freed. And with that situation, and just with so many when it comes to hip hop, there's this argument that lyrics should not be allowed to be used as evidence in court. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I feel like the only reason lyrics could not be used is because you could always use it as a form of art. If you could have somebody in a novel basing stuff in the novel on real events, you wouldn't look at that as snitching, or you wouldn't look at that. You wouldn't want to pull that in a court. You would look at that as art. Right. I think Tyler the Creator even said something like that, because when Goblin came out and everybody was giving him like shit for it because it was like hella inappropriate, hella controversial.
Yeah, he was banned from Australia. Yeah.
He was saying like, let a dude make a book about what I said and that shit's gonna sell, but let me make a song about it and you're looking at me like I'm a degenerate or ignorant ass whatever. You feel me? So you could use it as art. At the same time though, as a person who's in the streets and knows how to maneuver in the streets, why is it when everybody's in the studio, nobody knows how to maneuver and keep their mouth shut? Right. So, I don't know. Like, if you feel some type of way, maybe you should just stop talking about it. You know?
And what do you feel about Gunna? I mean, you already kind of spoke on the whole aspect of snitching, but that's what people are saying. And I personally think it's unfortunate, but...
It's unfortunate, bro. And I need street people to realize, bro, once you get to the top and you make money, bro, stop living by street principles. Street principles are only to those who are trapped in that lifestyle. Facts. And eventually you need to outgrow that dumbass shit. Right. Like snitching, I could see where snitching becomes problematic in certain situations because snitching means you're not accepting accountability. So if you do a crime with somebody and you think snitching on them is going to get you away from that, that doesn't dismiss you from your heinous crime. You either shot somebody, you still robbed somebody. You think just because you snitched, you're like an angel now? Like, no, you need accountability. That's where I feel like snitching is a somewhat praisable principle, is when you lack accountability. So you think giving it to somebody else for what they did and taking you away from the equation, you think you're better. Like, no, where's your accountability? As a man, you should take accountability. If you did something wrong, take accountability. Handle, you did the crime, do the time. You get what I'm saying? That's where I find snitching a good enough principle. However, when it comes to folks who are grown as fuck, getting money, living a better lifestyle, still trying to be street folks, That's when I'm like, bro, fuck the snitching. Do better, bro. Because that street shit is whack. Gangbanging been played out for a long time. That shit don't mean shit anymore. It used to mean shit when gangbanging was about going against the police that were actually brutalizing folks and communities on purpose and shit like that. I mean, they still do, but it was at an all-time high back then.
Right.
That's when gangbanging was praisable. Now it's just folks shooting each other because we live from different blocks and shit. And at the end of the day, 20 years down the line, when you're old as fuck and you have all this PTSD and trauma, and you look back at like, this shit was not worth it.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where I look at shit like that. That shit is not it.
Yeah, and it's wild because now we just have generation after generation of people who are chasing those ideals. I'm wondering that, you as an artist, as a musician, how do you categorize yourself? Do you feel that you make street music, or do you are you more of a conscious rapper, quote unquote?
I do a little bit of both because I was raised in Vallejo, you feel me? So
right.
I'm not from the streets. However, I have folks from the streets that taught me a mentality, and I live by certain principles in the streets because that was what was around me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, if folks beat you up, you're not finna go snitch. You're gonna beat their ass. It's called getting a fair one. You get your fair one in.
Yeah.
If the police come, you don't say shit because you don't know shit. I do believe in that too. I'm not a street dude. I'm not from a block. I'm from Vallejo, California, and that's where I was raised around. I was raised around that environment. I was raised around uncles who was banging and into shit that taught me shit, and I was around friends that was doing shit that taught me shit. But it's kind of like you have to fend for yourself because you do all this goofy shit. Well, not goofy shit, because if you're a civilian and you don't abide by shit like that, you're just being a regular civilian, and right. You shouldn't be looked at any different. But if you're someone who is going to be around folks like that, because I'm aware that folks was doing that shit, and I still chose to be around them. So if somebody was going to fuck around with me, I should be fully aware that you fucking around with me for a reason because I'm around this type of shit.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it just taught me to fend for myself. You gotta stand your ground. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You gotta stand your ground. Somebody wants to fuck with you, don't run away because them problems don't go away. They just gonna keep following you. You go snitch to the teacher, guess what? Your ass gonna get beat tomorrow and the next day. You gotta stand your ground. You get what I'm saying? And that's what Vallejo taught me. That's what that taught me. And by any means, I'm not trying to be a tough guy, but I know the world is ugly, and I'm not about to try to act like, oh, let me stay away from it. No, I gotta maneuver in the ugly world. And I'm gonna maneuver by any means that means. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, no, that's facts. Can you let us know a little bit more about Vallejo, what the life is like?
I mean, like it's just right now it's crazy. There's a lot of street politics going on right now that I don't need to speak on.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like the shit is getting depressing. Like I used to go to Vallejo to have fun and go meet the homies. Now I go to Vallejo, I feel depressed as fuck every time I go to Vallejo because I could feel the drainage. I could feel the drainage of energy in that city. It just feels dead. And that's horrible because it's like, that's my city I grew up in. I used to love waking up every day because that's my roots. Now, the roots is dead. The roots is dead. Nothing's good. There's no growth in that city. Everybody wants to leave. I want my family to leave Vallejo because I don't even like that city like that no more.
Well, what does it need? What's needed?
I mean, you need to up the community, but that's something that a mayor from a city can't fix. That's something like, who the fuck knows who needs to fix that? You just need to build the community up again. You feel me?
Well, do you know how it got broken?
I mean, I remember years ago it went bankrupt. You feel me? And then there's like low income communities. There's like a ghetto. There's no hope. There's areas that have no hope, and they have to find hope in other ways.
And so, in a perfect world, say you were put in a position to where you could give back.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you would want to improve the conditions in Vallejo, or you would just be more focused on like, let me get my people out of here?
Nah, of course. I mean, I'd want you take something out of a situation that doesn't solve a problem. Just because you move away from it doesn't mean that doesn't mean it can't happen somewhere else that you go. You got to fix the problem. I'm all about fixing the problem because you need rehabilitation centers. Mm-hmm. Just because you give people money doesn't mean they forget their mindset. You know what I'm saying? You give a crackhead $1 million, guess what? He's still gonna do crack. You get what I'm saying? Like get that man in a rehabilitation center. You feel me? Get that man right again. It's not just about money. It's not just about giving folks money. It's about resources. It's about rehabilitation. You need to reform it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that applies to the whole rapper conversation as well, and like the mental health. Like, because they're just surrounded by the money and the vices and the alcohol.
Exactly. All they have is just a bigger ego. You can't tell them no. It's kind of like what I've been saying about Kanye. And folks always like, why nobody telling Kanye something? I'm like, you heard what he said to somebody. He was like, you not rich. You can't tell me what to do. Imagine who he's telling that to. His therapist, probably. People that's trying to get him right. People that's trying to look out for his best interest. No, I can't listen to you because you're not richer than me. Money and them vices will feed your ego into a horrible place. You will be in a horrible state.
Have you experienced that before?
Not really, because I've never been like super rich. I've never been like super, you feel me, like financially stable.
Well,
so
when it comes to vices,
I mean, yeah, like certain bad shit that I used to want to do. Like I do it because it's like, ooh, it's devious, but I kind of like the devious shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was like little kid shit though. You feel me? Now I'm kind of like grown. I could kind of maneuver a lot better. I know how to like tame my emotions and shit. So I don't think I feed into my vices. Or if I feed into a vice that I know is gonna affect somebody else, I have to completely like disconnect from that person, or like get myself out of that environment from that person so I don't harm them. Because I don't want to feed into my vice, and the vice may be a little too strong for me to tame. So I try to, if I'm gonna feed into it, I make sure I'm not hurting somebody around me.
Well, that's good. It's good that you actually, care, because a lot of people just kind of cruise through life and they're just not tripping on it. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 24. I just turned 24 on Saturday.
Oh shit! Well, happy birthday!
Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
And I turned 24 on Sunday.
Oh shit! Yeah, we going crazy.
That's so wild. Well,
yeah, we going crazy.
Happy birthday!
Appreciate you.
When did you start at San Francisco State?
2017. I graduated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I graduated 2017 in June, and then I started that semester in August.
Oh yeah, we went to school the whole same time. I just never saw you. That's
it's
wild.
good. It's folks that been there the whole time that I never seen either. So
yeah. I mean, the reason why I brought it up is because I just wanted to know how the pandemic and this whole 2-year whirlwind we went through affected you. I mean, I know with me, when I started school in 2017, everything was all good. But then when that hit in 2020, it was just weird because so many people had to go back to wherever they were from, or they dropped out of school, or they quit. And so then it's funny, it's very ironic. By the time I got back to school and I had class with you, I felt like I didn't know everyone, and I thought that everybody I had class with was, they were new or whatever.
Yeah.
Clearly I was wrong, but how did it affect you?
Bro, that shit felt like a setback on humanity, bro. I felt like everybody's like morals got twisted, everybody's principles got fucking whatever the fuck you want to call it. It just completely did a whole 180. Or 360, whatever the right degree or angle is. Whatever the right degree or angle is. I don't know, man. That shit just like really had people like tripping. I feel like it divided people too. Like people's, with the whole anti-COVID, COVID's real, COVID's not real, vaccine is real, vaccine's not real. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel like it. And then you had a certain somebody in presidency who even like made it worse. Made it okay that division was gonna be like a thing. The whole presidency, their whole presidency run. It's just hard, bro, because it's like, how much accountability are we gonna give influencers when we need to start allowing these people to think outside the box, bro? There's too many followers, bro. But I understand. What do they say? You can't have too many leaders. You need enough followers. Because if you have too many leaders, that shit starts to like, everybody starts to bump heads, and then that shit will just cause a fucking collision with each other. So you need followers. It's just unfortunate that there's a lot of dumb ass followers. There's a lot of fucking stupid ass followers that make shit worse and feed into like the influencers' agenda. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like you said, there's a lot of followers and there's not that many leaders, and the few leaders that are in place
don't know how to be leaders.
Yeah, they don't know how to be leaders, or they're just saying different variations of the same thing, or I agree. Did you struggle with just feeling confused, or did you ever consider taking a break from school? Or
I took like a semester break, and I just wanted to stack bread and just, you feel me, get away from it, because I felt like I wasn't gonna learn. Like just being on a computer and shit, that shit felt boring. I felt like I was being forced to be there. It just didn't feel like college. I felt like I was like forced to do this bullshit. So I just took a break.
And then when you came back, were a lot of your friends still there, or did you have to kind of readjust?
I mean, college, I never really made that much friends, to be honest. Like I probably made like 2 friends in like 4 years of college. Anybody else was just like a classmate friend. And then eventually when the semester's done, I'm not going to talk to you, obviously. You feel me? So I probably made like 2 genuine friends the first 4 years. It wasn't until my 5th year. Where I was like, I'm gonna try to make some friends. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I ended up making some good ass friends, some good, cool ass homies. My homie Will and my homie Jerry. So
how did you do that?
It was in 505 when we was doing 305 when we was doing the radio shit.
Oh,
and they was my partners, and then we just vibed. I guess we just connected, and then from there, like they actually became my good ass homies.
Yeah, that's funny because that's how I met Vanessa. Shout out to Vanessa Vendel.
Yeah, shout out Vanessa, you talented motherfucker.
Virtually. Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm really glad and blessed to have been in Becca. Can you tell me about your experience in radio and your show? What's the subject matter?
I mean, Becca is beautiful, bro. That's where the connections and friendships and all that like tie in because you really get the vibe of everybody. Right. If it wasn't for Becca, I wouldn't have met, you feel me, my dog Will, my boy Jerry. I wouldn't have met you. Wouldn't have met Vanessa. Would have never found out about Vanessa. Shout out Vanessa. You fucking legend. That's the dog. And then shout out to Jerry and Will. Them legends as well. Shout out to you, bro. You a fucking legend. God damn it. Everybody legends in the making. If you don't feel like a legend, then you a legend in the making. You get what I'm saying? Whole bunch of goats.
I think about that all the time, like especially in a city like San Francisco. Like if you really look into the history, there were always times when all these different artists were trying to get it, and some of them blew up, some of them didn't. But it's not about that, It's just creation and connection, and it's really the journey.
Exactly,
it's really the journey. But I want to know, what was your show about? It was
Rhymes Through Time.
Rhymes Through Time.
Yeah. We got them Becky. You feel me? We got the 2 Becky Awards type shit.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you. It was cool, bro. Like it was just nice because I feel like in that time I was lacking friends who really give a fuck about music and want to talk about music. You know what I'm saying? So that should just open the door to finally have a conversation with people that are genuinely like interested in music. Like I could finally talk to you about this shit. I could talk to you about this album that you really did listen to. Not just, I'm gonna listen to that shit. Never listen to it. You feel me? And even me, like I used to be like, I'll listen to this album. But now I actually do listen to albums because I'm interested in music and I like hearing like what folks put out. So that shit was just nice to get that experience and really dissect and dive in. And even if it was from the present or the future projects, present projects, or even past projects, like anything music-wise, it was just nice having a whole bunch of people dissect that shit.
Mm-hmm. And do you ever think about, like, okay, from you doing that, if you ever imagined how people are going to dissect your music? Or like
shit, I've had people dissect my shit. I've had people say it's ass. I had people say it's raw, which I'm not tripping because music is subjective, so... like I always say, like if I don't like somebody's music, I think their craft is ass, but that doesn't make them ass. Right. It's just my criteria, and I'll never, even when I say somebody's ass, I'll never disrespect their grind. If I don't like an artist, I might say he's ass, but I respect his grind because he made it and he's putting food on the table for his family, and I can't disrespect that.
Exactly. And everybody has their own
opinion.
Yeah, their own opinion, their own vibe, the stuff that they connect to, and I think it's very easy to get lost in how others will receive. Like I know there's so many artists out there that are not dropping the things they need to drop because of just being
bare minimum type shit.
Yeah. Just afraid of that rejection, afraid of failure, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I think the only failure is not putting yourself out there. It's not
Facts.
Doing the thing. What about you? Do you have experiences with failure or like?
Oh yeah, everybody have a fucking experience with failure, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody has to have that. If you don't have that, then you never learn. You don't ever grow. If you don't know what it's like to fail, then you don't know what it's like to truly win. You feel me? You need to know what it's like to fail. And I've had failures, bro. Shit. I feel like a failure right now.
But you can't feel like a failure, sir.
No, right now. Not because it's your show. I'm definitely not where I want to be, type shit.
Call my whole shit janky.
Hell no, bro. Hell no. That's not what I meant, bro. Your shit is popping. Shit, before the interview started, I was already hyping up your shit. Your shit was going crazy. I was juiced as hell to be here. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
I'm just fucking with you.
I know, bro. It's just funny.
When you say you're not where you want to be, where is it that you want to be? Where'd you rather be at?
Shit, I'm just trying to devote more time into what I'm capable of. So it's like graphic designing, streaming, shit like that, media. I just feel like I need that perfect opportunity to show that I'm actually worth like an eye. I'm worth the attention. I'm worth you giving me an opportunity. Because I feel like I can show it. I do fully believe I'm capable of being a good media person. I definitely believe that. So if it was given a chance, like whoever, like, Adam 22, Academics, whoever the fuck, Vlad, whoever the fuck, Sway. Any media person, Sway, cool, fuck, bro, Sway saw me, I'll go crazy. But you feel me? I feel like if the opportunity presents itself, I could definitely capitalize off that opportunity. I really believe that, and that's not no cocky shit because I'm not saying like fuck yeah, like fuck you if you don't believe me because I'm raw as fuck. Like nah, I just solely believe
yourself,
I know how to present myself in a good manner. I know how to keep a conversation going, and I know how to keep the vibes going too. I feel like that's very important for somebody who's trying to do media, and specifically in that like podcast field or streaming field. I definitely believe I could do that. Yeah. So when an opportunity presents itself, I will take advantage of it, and I feel like I would capitalize off it. I'm just waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah,
you know?
It's coming towards you. You know what I mean? You'll look back on this moment, and you probably forget it.
Hell no. Nah. This is the first, bro. This is the first, like, bro. When we get successful, and this is to the future, this future him, this future me, we're going to look at this shit, and this is the point where we're like, oh shit, we really did this segment right here. We really looking at the future stuff, like, damn, we really made it all the way here. Like, yeah, we looking at you, bro. Yeah. We going crazy.
And it's so important to keep track of those types of things, you know? Like, keep track of your accomplishments, keep track of where you used to be versus where you are now, and like, you know, I think it's a duality. Like, it's good that you recognize that you're not where you want to be, but don't forget to appreciate where you are.
Yeah,
you know?
Facts. I have folks who think like they can't appreciate shit because they're not where they need to be. And it's like, no, because then you just become depressed as fuck, and you just feel like nothing you could do is worth celebrating. But it's like, bro, you woke up today, celebrate.
Exactly.
It's folks that didn't get to wake up.
You made it through this whole year.
Yeah, you get to drink water. You better celebrate you drinking water. It's folks that don't got water. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned to do that as well, as just appreciate the smallest things, because that's what matters the most. Some people don't even have the smallest things. Some people don't have a thing. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be appreciated. You got to be grateful.
Gratitude is key.
Gratitude is definitely key. Humility is key as well. I'd be humble.
Yeah, being humble, yes. And it's all a balancing act. Like,
no, facts.
You got to be humble, but then you also got to be confident. You know, you got to have that humble confidence, because you don't want to just be stepping on toes, but you don't want to let people walk all over you at the same time, especially in this industry, in this field.
No, definitely.
You know, when it comes to your mental health, your mental wellness, what practices do you do to promote that and to keep yourself stable mentally?
Mentally, I'll tell you where I thought I was right, and I'll tell you where I did get right. So before, my mental health was like very confusing, because I went through a stage where I felt like my emotions were very high. I really let my emotions get to me all the time. I used to cry like a little fucking bitch, even though, you know, don't say that. It's okay. You can cry. No, but like for real, like I used to let myself cry a lot. I used to let shit get to me a lot. I used to let emotions play like a big factor, and I didn't really like that. So I went through this stage where I was like, I need to be heartless, bro. Like I'm tired of these emotions. I'm tired of having feelings. You feel me? So I went through. I went through. Yeah, no, I'm saying that's where I went wrong though. Yeah, this is where I went wrong, because this isn't the right way. Yeah, I went through like this heartless, numb stage where like if something bothered me, I go numb. I can't feel nothing. I can't feel you. I don't feel nothing right now. I'm just going with the flow. I felt like a bag flowing in the wind, just nothing. You're just flowing. You know what I'm saying?
How long ago?
Damn, bro, this is probably like 2018 to like 2020, 21, beginning of 21. And then I finally realized, you know what? I don't think killing my emotions is where it's at. I think organizing my emotions is where it's at. Because now I get in a state where when I know something's bothering me, I like take a breather. I organize my thoughts. I organize my emotions. I understand the situation. And I just don't dwell. Dwelling is like you get stuck if you dwell. Yeah. If you accept, you move forward. And then it doesn't come off that way. It doesn't come off as bad as you think it is. Because it's like, yeah, some bad shit happened, but dwelling off it isn't going to move you forward. You got to move forward and improvise and figure out what your next step is going to be. Otherwise, what the fuck is sitting and dwelling off the same situation? Like, that's not going to get you nowhere. It's not going to get you past it either. You feel me? So I've learned to just accept situations and predicaments and circumstances and moving forward by either improvising or going closer to the solution. You feel me? I know it sounds simple, and I try to understand like where it got simple to me. Like it's just simple. It's very natural to me now. It's organic. It just happens. It's like an instinct now. And it's like now it's like how do I teach that to people? Because I'd like for people to do the same thing. Because a lot of people dwell, and a lot of people dwell too much. They don't want to like move forward. They want to stay stuck. And it's like, how do I teach that to them? How do I make it like an instinct for them too? And it's really hard because a lot of people don't think like that. They're still trying to get their emotions gathered and organized. But I feel like I've gotten to that point.
I mean, it's hard. Like for me, and just listening, I agree that you shouldn't dwell on things. But I'm wondering, how do you not dwell on things but not shut down your emotions like you were already doing?
Yeah, I mean, because you're like, I'll give you an instance, like my step pops when he passed away. You know, there's times where I'm crying and I'm like, I'm like, why? Like, why the fuck would this happen? Why the fuck did this happen? Like, why? Like, it has to be a dream. It has to be like a simulation. Like, there's no way that this is happening, right? I take a breather. I'm like, okay, like let's look at the realistic shit. You know, my step was unhealthy. You feel me? He didn't try to get better, and that's what happens when you don't do that. It's sad, but that's what it is. And now that it's like that, that's just what it is. He's in his final piece. He doesn't have to suffer no more. He doesn't have to do none of that. He's in his final piece. You can move on now. He has a half of you on you. You have a half of him, and you get to carry that on. And that's just what it is. There's no need to dwell. There's no need to wonder why it happened or when it happened, or it's just it happened and now it's time to continue. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can have that sadness.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
You know? And my condolences. But
appreciate you. It's not like burying your emotions. You're just more organizing and nurturing your emotions. Nurturing the sadness, not allowing it to overcome. You're just nurturing it. You're knowing where its places and where its role is, but you don't let it overwhelm you and overcome you as well. You get what I'm saying? So that's just practice. It's very natural for me, and I'm still trying to understand how to teach it to where I could have folks do the same thing and we could better ourselves.
Yeah, no, and thank you for that. I really enjoyed that outlook, and I know it's definitely something I could use. I mean, I'm going through a death as well, like so many people out there.
Damn, my condolences, man.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. And I'm sure by this point you've probably seen the new Black Panther, right?
Oh yeah, that shit was fire.
Man, that shit had me crying though. I feel like it was so much just about like death and grieving.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't speak for your community, but I know in the Black community, you feel me? This is something that we don't know how to deal with. We don't know, and I feel like there's not really one true way to do it correctly.
Yeah.
I think there's certain things that are correct, like not dwelling, like not feeding into just dark thoughts that you can't really get a positive answer out of.
Yeah.
You can sit there searching for the why all day and all night.
Exactly. I mean, it's in the Latino community too. You feel me? I think like Black and Latino communities share a lot of upbringings and values and stuff. We definitely do, and we also have our separate that only we know what it is type shit. But we definitely have that same. We have certain things, and I think we could. It's like that toxic masculinity shit, and also just other shit. You know, like we just learned you gotta bury it because you're a man, and that goes for a Black man, a Mexican man, whatever it is. Like we were always taught to bury shit, and we're not allowed to express because you're a man. You shouldn't have to express. Now we're in that age where it's nothing wrong with expressing. You get me? Like that's what lets it out.
No, and then when you were saying how you used to struggle with like crying over everything, like for me, I almost wish that I was more on your side because I can't cry over shit. Like I don't cry over shit. Like when people die, when like bad things happen, like when somebody dies, I'm usually the type to like I won't cry until the actual funeral and the body is there, like in front of my face. Like it takes.
Oh yeah, in the same way.
I know that it's a lot healthier to have that release. You don't want to get trapped in it. I think it's kind of a spectrum, but when you're just on the side to where you just know you have so much internally, but it's easier for you to get angry about things than it is for you to actually get sad about things. Yeah. Even when you were talking about like death and grieving, like I feel like with grief, of course I felt sad, but I think a lot of times I just be angry, like mad.
And that's where you gotta nurture the anger. Yeah. Can't let it overcome or overfill you, because then that's when it's like shit. I'm not learning about my anger. I'm just letting it do what it does. You like give it its own identity. You're just allowing it to do whatever it wants instead of nurturing it and understand like okay. Like you need to chill, bro. You doing a little too much.
Think of like Naruto and the
like this. Exactly, bro. It's no different from looking at that, and I feel like that's beautiful symbolism. I feel like that's the symbolism we're supposed to get from Naruto is the whole demon fox anger, and then you're Naruto who is trying to overcome and nurture that side. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Naruto, you know what I'm saying? I got that little Naruto tattoo on me.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
come on. Like, oh, wait, I got a tight ass shirt, so I can't even pull my sleeve up.
Okay.
But, hey, man.
I'll put it some people.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to speak on or bring attention to, when it comes to just your art, what you hope to put out there, and just the toxic masculinity, the industry, everything we covered?
I mean, I feel like everything we did was like pretty straightforward. Like we got our point across. You get what I'm saying? But in terms of like me, you feel me? I'm me, Thizz Uchiha. You know what I'm saying? We got like the two worlds. You got Thizz, that's, you know, Mac Dre, rest in peace, Mac Dre. That's Bay Area roots.
Yeah.
And then you got Uchiha, that's the nerd shit. Naruto, Sasuke, you feel me? That's that nerd shit. So I combine those two worlds, and guess what? You combine that Bay shit with that nerd anime shit, gaming shit, whatever the fuck. You got that Bay shit, that, you feel me, ghetto shit. You combine that, guess what? You got me.
Yes.
That's what you got. That's what you got. Come on.
And where can they find you? Where can people out there find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thizz Uchiha. Just type that in. You're going to find me. Thizz Uchiha. Until I find somebody to hack the accounts on Thizz, just the name Thizz, until I get that hacked, hey, that's what
When you get that blue check, you feel me?
Yeah. Hey, man, give me that Thizz name, man. I need that shit.
Thizz Uchiha, thank you so much once again
man.
for coming in.
Hell yeah.
You know, just thank you so much.
Hell yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
The vibes was good.
Yes. Great vibes.
Can't force this. This is organic. It's natural. It's organic. Natural.
Non-GMO
yeah.
Yes. This has been another episode of Neosouled Radio. I am your host, Kyri Nashiem. Thank you all for watching and listening. And remember, your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Thank you. Peace out.
Peace, man.
Thank you. That was so good.
That was good, bro. I was fucking with that.